New maps have caused chaos in Florida politics, and the markets have not yet caught up. Find out what's going on in this week's Political Fixer Market Insights. Hi, everyone. I'm Shauna Presley Virtue, the Political Fixer, and we are looking at potentially huge shifts in the congressional markets of one of the nation's largest states as Florida entered the map rigging wars. And liquidity is super thin on the order books for these markets. Governor DeSantis ordered new congressional maps be drawn in Florida during a special legislative session in an effort to ensure that Republicans win more seats. The maps look dramatically different than before, and the markets have not yet adjusted in either pricing or trade volume, possibly because of the volatility risk. One of the key races impacted is Tampa Bay Congresswoman Kathy Castor. Castor's district went for Harris in 2024 by over 7 points, but the redrawn boundaries would have a Trump advantage now of over 10 points. Castor is a staple in her community, serving as Congresswoman for over 20 years and overperforming in her last election by 8 points. However, insiders are saying that Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jay Collins, is possibly stepping in to run against Castor on the Republican side. Between redrawn maps and a formidable foe, she could still win, but I believe she's overpriced. Currently at 61, I think she's closer to between 45 and 55. Let's take a look at Florida House seat 25, currently held by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the former national chair of the Democratic Party. The old district voted for Harris +5 in 2024, but the new maps would have a Trump advantage of over 9, a 14-point swing to the Republican side. The market for Florida 25 has Democrats highly overpriced at 70, and it has a current trade volume of less than 14,000. Low volume is important here because even a few large trades can heavily move this market. With all of these Republican voters being redrawn into Democratic districts, which red markets should we be keeping an eye on? Let's head over back to the west coast of Florida and take a look at District 12. I'm going to give you some insider analysis on this one. The current congressman of District 12 is Republican Gus Bilirakis. Now, even when Obama won Florida in 2012, Bilirakis was able to win his seat. And the reason for that is because of largely his Greek heritage. Bilirakis is the co-chair of the Congressional Hellenic Council, and his grandparents migrated from Greece. And prior to Gus being the congressman, his father, Michael Bilirakis, was the congressman of the district before him. This is pertinent information because the largest concentration of Greek Americans is located in a town in Florida called Tarpon Springs. And for years, that was in the heart of this congressional district, and there was a Bilirakis to represent this community until now. The new maps have shifted the Bilirakis district, District 12, to no longer include Tarpon Springs, and it is now 19 points more Democratic. To be clear, this is still a district favoring Republicans on paper by 14 points. However, between a blue wave, a strong Democratic opponent who's raising a lot of money, and the loss of his Tarpon Springs Greek base, I believe this market is highly overpriced. Republicans are currently listed at 83. I believe this market should be closer to around 60. Two things to keep in mind for the Florida congressional markets. First, these maps have passed the legislature, but they could get held up in court. This could introduce headline-driven volatility, meaning that we could see some sharp short-term swings in the market based on legal news. Also, these indicators on the new maps are based on how people cast their ballots in 2024. However, the president is now underwater, according to most polls, in almost every demographic. In Florida in particular, you're going to want to watch the Hispanic and Latino voters with their sentiment shown here. Based on what we're seeing, it is highly possible that these races are going to be much closer than what Governor DeSantis intended when he had these maps drawn. Even so, these congressional markets are going to shift and shift rapidly at some point. District 9, shown here, is currently held by Democrat Darren Soto. As you can see, when the new maps swung 21 points in Republicans' favor, the market swiftly followed. I believe we're going to see something similar in the other Florida markets listed. That's our Political Fixer Market Insights for this week. follow me at Political Fixer for more guidance through this intense midterm season. And in the meantime, I'm Shauna Presley Virtue, the Political Fixer, and I'll see you all soon.